Hey guys, welcome back to Nia's Nest. Today I'm doing a book review over the book Paper Towns by John Green. For those of you who don't know, I am a total bookworm and I love reading books, especially ones that are being turned into movies. So a few weeks ago, all of my best friends and I were out to see Pitch Perfect 2 and a preview for Paper Towns comes on. And I was totally like enthralled right away. But the ending of the whole preview, the main character said, "My miracle was Margot Roth Spiegelman." And I got chill bumps. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to order that. And another really good friend of mine, Courtney, she's a bookworm as well, and a lot of times we read things together and kind of compare and contrast whatever we're thinking. So right there in the theater, we got on Amazon.com and ordered Paper Towns. Some of you have sent in some of your thoughts and ideas that you had about the book, and I just wanted to kind of like do a little live chat with you guys based on the comments that you sent in. And so basically this book is sort of like a teen mystery type book, but it also has deeper levels. It's not just, some, escape mystery novel. There's also a lot of meaning behind the story, and we'll talk about that as we look at some of your comments and discuss what we're thinking about it. But basically, this guy and girl, they grow up next door to each other, and as they grow, they become two separate people. She's popular, he's not, and turns out that there's more to both of these people than what they thought. They live right next door to each other. And so a couple things that I particularly liked about this book was the fact that the characters were really well developed. Like, I really felt like I understood what was going on with each of the characters in there. Like, there's a nerdy guy, there's the main character, there's the kind of like dark popular girl who's got it all like hidden inside, and so I felt like the characters were developed really well, and I also felt like the writer kept the story interesting. It was a page turner for sure. Lauren from Twitter said that she absolutely loved it. You really get connected to all the characters. I finished it in one day because I just couldn't put it down, and I totally agree with you. I feel like the characters were really well developed and it was totally a page turner. A couple of things that I didn't like about the book were the language and the fact that the whole ending of the story was just a little bit predictable and kind of blah. But at the same time, there were different levels. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, Bales and Bose said that she really enjoyed the book but found parts of it too predictable. I found that it was a mystery that wasn't so mysterious. That being said, I would definitely recommend it. I have to agree with her on the fact that, or it could be a him, Bales and Bose, I'm assuming you're a her, but the fact that it was a little too predictable. There were just certain things about it, like I was really hoping that at the end of this book there would be some like grand finale, but in the back of my mind, I've read other John Green novels and I thought it's probably just going to be kind of like this like flatline type ending. It's probably not going to be very like emotionally fulfilling, which is okay. I feel like there's a lot of meaning behind the way that the book was actually ended, but another thing she mentioned was that it was a mystery that wasn't so mysterious. I do kind of agree with her on that one. I feel like it was definitely a mystery book. You wanted to know what was going to happen next. But in my mind, I kind of thought, I think this is going to happen next. I think they're going to find this clue, and they're going to do this, and they're going to go there. And I ended up being right about a lot of those details. Kaylee Deanne from Instagram said, I thought it was good. I could do without the bad language, though. And I have to say that reason alone, pretty much the bad language alone, I would not recommend this book. Basically, because I feel like I'm putting out content on YouTube, and who knows who's all seeing it. I have to just be honest and say I don't recommend this book on the sole purpose that the language was very profane and it used God's name in vain a lot, and I'm really not okay with that. We'll talk about recommendation here in a minute. I want to keep going though and talk about some of the other things that I noticed in the book and that you guys also noticed in the book. Lauren Setchel, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that all to pieces. I read this a few years ago and recently reread it so I'd be caught up for the movie. Hey, me too, but I didn't read it a few years ago. Both times I felt that the beginning was slow and the end was kind of rushed. That being said, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it and I'm excited to watch the movie. I personally love John Green's writing and style and sense of humor. And so I just wanted to throw that out there for some of you who might be able to relate to Lauren's opinion. I did not feel like it was slow in the beginning. I was like totally like engrossed in the book for the first few chapters. I had a lot of you comment saying that this was a slow read, so I was curious what about it made it a slow read for some of you guys. I was really intrigued by the storyline, and I was really curious if the two main characters were going to reconnect on any kind of level, because it starts out with a big connection and then there's a giant separation for years, and then they're kind of like this really awkward out of nowhere connection again, which if you read the book you'll understand. I don't really want to give spoilers away because I'm sure some of you are going to go see the movie and you might be reading it, whatever, so just kind of curious about that fact. Kairos22 says, it was a really good book. The ending was very anticlimactic though. Totally agree with that. I felt like the whole book was leading up to a big moment, and for me that big moment never actually happened. But it had good content and was very well written. I have to completely agree with you. There were so many different levels and things going on within the story that you really felt like you were leading yourself up to something giant. Like this huge ending was going to come out of nowhere. And really it didn't. Like I said earlier, it was just really like mundane and kind of emotionless. I was just like, oh, okay. But one reason I feel like that is, I feel like there was like an underlying hidden thing with the ending of this book. There's always like a surface story, and then there's always like, you know, a deeper layer to a story, and sometimes the layers just keep going. But I feel like a second layer to the ending of this book was the fact that as humans we tend to hide who we really are sometimes, and some people do it more than others. And sometimes in our lives we come across these people that we feel like I should be connecting with that person. The way that I am and the way that he or she is, we would have a good connection. But we're too afraid to step outside of our box. We're too afraid of what like society or like our peers at school will think of us. And so we kind of like shy away from that, and we just keep being who everyone thinks we're being and putting on, you know, this face. So I feel like, you know, like the ending of this book was kind of showing that like there are people who can overcome that, and then there are people who are still always going to be stuck in that little rut, and you have to like physically remove yourself from the rut or you're going to stay in it. I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense to you. It does to me, and I don't want to give away a lot of spoilers, but with the two main characters it seems almost like one person is brought out of their shell and one person kind of stays within their shell, and they're okay with that. They want to stay in their little shell and be who they are without having to share it with the world. They just want to enjoy who they are for themselves and for all the new people they're yet to meet. Does that make sense, those of you who read it? This is a comment from Courtney. She is one of my besties. She's the one I ordered it in the movie theater with, and she and I saw eye to eye like on everything. We always do anyways for the most part, but she said, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in there even though we already discussed this. Good message about beauty only being skin deep and there being more than meets the eye. She's totally right. There's definitely like this underlying message in this book about beauty is not skin deep. There's always more to a person than what meets the eye. Okay, and then my last little comment that I took from our social media accounts today, I couldn't take all of them and a lot of them were really repetitive, so I took the ones that I was able to like have a conversation with you about. Nicole Claire said, I feel like I'm the only one with a negative review, ... I'm sorry about that, but I personally didn't like it too much. It dragged for me. It felt like it was taking ages for me to get through it. Just didn't find it that exciting. And I just wanted to end on that note because although we're talking about this story and it's got these cool little underlying stories, I don't really recommend it for you guys. I don't think it's something that you all should be reading or should go out and buy. I mean, obviously this is my opinion and the way that I felt about the book, but so I really appreciate John Green's work. I think he has some really good ideas and stuff like that. I just think for those that are trying to keep, you know, your minds in the right setting, and especially me, I really guard my mind and what goes into it. Anyway, so that's my review on Paper Towns. Overall, it's pretty good. I just don't recommend it for moral reasons. Anyways guys, thanks for coming along with me today. Let me know what you think about this story. If you've seen the movie, are you going to? Let's just talk about it. I'm curious what you all have to say. Also, thank you guys so much for sending in your thoughts and comments about this book. It really helped me put the review together for you all today. And if there's another book you guys are going to be reading or you'd like to hear me review, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get discussions flowing about that. If you guys liked my video today, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week. Bye!